Hi guys, can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. Just a little earlier, I saw there were quite a few of you waiting already. Billy is here. There he is. So we've got quite a few people here already, 42. I've gone live a little early, so we'll wait a little bit for everyone to come on because I'm a little early. Hi, Richard. Hi, Pablo. Hi, Nero Wonky. Olivier Leroy from Paris. Yeah, they're using all the new cases as an excuse, right? I haven't heard of anyone dying from it, in the last month or so. Hi, Damien, British expat T unit living in Cali. Is that, I think, Ecuador, Cali? Or do you mean California? I think there's a Cali in Ecuador. Jonathan Raystrick. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Richard. Ovi Chinzilla from Pennsylvania. Cozy Fantuti. Hi, Cozy Fantuti. Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Jillian B. Hi, Lucas. Martin Stevens from California. Edinburgh. We got people from everywhere. No, he's harvesting a potato in Maine, I think. Yeah. Ovi from Michigan. Philip Ward. John from Colorado, from Denver. John Denver. Pad. Hi, Pad. Victor Claudio. Hi, Victor. I've been watching a little bit of Gold Rush this weekend. They've put, I don't know if any of you guys have the RBRY or Library app. Someone has downloaded all the Gold Rush shows for free there. So I was watching Gold Rush season 10. That was last year. It just goes to show you how difficult it is to get gold. I enjoy watching that. Billericay. I've been to Billericay, Will, a long time ago in Northern Ireland. Alex Radlowski from Illinois. Omaha from Belgium. Yeah, No is stuck in Maine. Yeah, I like Bering Sea as well. I watched that too. Tracy Stark from Serbia. She escaped coming martial law in the US. So the title of the live stream is 2020 Unprecedented Crisis and Opportunity. I get a lot of comments sometimes, not from my loyal followers, but from sometimes trolls or other people saying that I'm always gloom and doom, but I'm not. I actually think we need to keep our heads down. I know things are really, how can I say, unprecedented right now, but I don't think, the powers that be will succeed. They're too incompetent, especially here in the UK, I think. And we need to keep away from all the distractions, especially in the US with what's going on now, with the election, with the death of Justice Ginsburg. There's a lot of speculation now, the politics, the eventual maybe a hung Supreme Court, maybe trying to decide the president. I've read in the FT, they've talked about all the eventualities that you could actually have Nancy Pelosi ending up being president come January. So, and there's other stuff as well with the Chinese. There's a lot of headlines now about Iran as well. So I think we need to keep our eyes on the ball, and they don't want you to look at what's happening to the finances, the fact that they're basically doing a bank heist right now, and that's why we need to keep a hold of our precious metals as much as possible. I know it's very hard. Yeah, I've had a tough time since I started stacking O2, not the whole time, but you need to keep an income, you need to have your job, you need to be healthy. Everything got to click. So I think it's more important than ever for people to, really batten down the hatches. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people who are able to do that. Of course, if you're too much into debt, if you been laid off, uh, yeah, things are not easy. But I think it's never late to try to do things the right way. And I've always said that the most important thing is to have more income than outgoing, right? That's the main definition of economics, the old Greek definition. It means household management. And it's easy for me to say it, but uh, it's got to be done, in my opinion. And I think that's where the world is headed. We're going to have to, as a society in general, pay back for all the borrowing we've done for the last 50 years since Nixon closed the gold window. And that's why sound money is so important. So we've got Tricky Dicky. Thank you, Tricky Dicky. Super chat. Rule of Six is a law that was published 30 minutes before it came into effect. This government's out of control. Democracy is dead, right? Well, maybe, but I don't think we've ever had really what we have. Democracy is just a distraction for the public, and I don't think it's any different. We tend to think that I think what's more important is for people to try to be self-sufficient. I know they're, how can I say, going after our civil liberties. And I think that's more freedom and civil liberties, and the protection of private property is more important than democracy to me. Democracy actually usually leads into the mob rule. I think what you mean is the eradication of common law, civil liberties, the right of the individual, freedom of speech, freedom of movement. That's what we're losing. I could care less about democracy, actually, because democracy actually doesn't lead us to a good path. And I'm not saying that I'm a communist or authoritarian. I just want freedom. Thanks for the question, though. I agree with you. This government is out of control, and I think they really want to bring down the economy. That's what they're looking to do, because this economy, even before the crisis started, had too much debt. We have even more debt now, so it would be an excuse, right? They can blame COVID for the collapse. XLP, have you seen that the Royal Mint's signature gold has now changed to DG Gold? Do you think this is backed by real gold holdings? I wouldn't trust the Royal Mint. I wouldn't, well, you can buy coins from them, but I wouldn't leave my coins with the Royal Mints because they're part of the governments. Ralph Joyner says, enjoyed my piece on FT. Yeah, 3 months ago they did the same guy wrote saying, silver's going nowhere, and silver has gone up 50%, and now he's come out again with this guy Jeff Christian trying to talk down silver again. Hi, Lord Humongous, nice to see you. Everyone hear me okay? Jay Northrop, Mario, thoughts on legitimacy of Jazara? He's skeptical. Yeah, I've heard about Jazara. It's the plan to transform, to clean up the deep state. That I've heard of that for over 15 years. I think it's just pie in the sky, to be honest. I also think this quantum financial system is pie in the sky. It's just another distraction, in my opinion. So I wouldn't put too much weight onto that. Just Jazara, whatever you call it. That's supposed to have been in the works since the 1990s, I think. Any websites to buy gold in the USA? I think Monex, Maonex, that's one I know, Monex. There might be others, but I don't really look too much in the US because I years ago, excuse me, I used to be able to buy from the US Mint, but they stopped selling abroad. I used to buy, I bought a few Buffaloes about in 2007 from the US Mint. But yeah, try Monex, yeah. Or AppMax, JD Bullion, the NOs have some more there. Where do you think the price of Bitcoin is going in the short term? Well, I think Bitcoin right now is stuck between like 10 and 12,000. So I'm not sure. I don't really follow it too closely. So I think, yeah, we could stay stuck around 10 and 12,000 for now. Gazara Nasara, yeah. Hi, Spare Dime. Nice to see you. Ken Kramer. No, I don't think there are any banks that we can really trust. It depends, of course. If your life savings is below 250,000, it will be technically insured by the FDIC, but I don't think the FDIC is trustworthy. And why do I say that? Well, a few years ago, there was Congress passed with one of their spending bills. They allowed the Wall Street banks for them to insure their derivatives exposure through the FDIC. So I wouldn't trust any bank out there, no matter how small or how safe you think they are. The only bank you should trust is yourself. Be your own central bank. Hold on to cash if you want personally, but also precious metals outside the system. Could you do a video on the Hungarian hyperinflation, Chris Varga? Yeah, I think that was after World War II, right? I think the Hungarian hyperinflation. Yeah, Rob, I agree. Nasara is a pipe dream. I've been hearing about it. And also this Iraqi dinar, revaluation, it's also rubbish. Why would you want to hold Iraqi dinars if you can hold gold and silver, right? Ovi, I haven't looked into Nicola, so I couldn't tell you. William Birkenroad, you're welcome. About Glint. Yeah, they have been in the US. Unfortunately, you can't use the P2P yet in the US. They're still going through the works there. But in other parts of the world, you can actually send people gold now. Other people that have a Glint account, you can send them a gram or less or more, and they'll get it as quickly as you send them a text or an email. John Colorado, do you have any favorite precious metals mining stocks? Uranium, I haven't really looked at uranium recently. Years ago, I did invest in Cameco, but precious metals, mining stocks, I think the way the precious metals market is going to go, pretty much any mining stock out there is going to do well. So, I mean, last week I switched around quite a few of my holdings, but yeah, I would rather not talk about which my favorites are. But one thing I would say, I would look at the GDXJ, GDX, and look at the major holdings they have. Look at Sprott. That's how I go about it. There are a few mining stocks there that I can't access because they're in the Toronto Venture Exchange. So my broker doesn't provide for that. One good one though that Tavi Costa talked about, and I know the chairman actually, is ELORO, ELORO. So I think that could be a good stock, ELORO Resources. I think they're in Peru and Peru and maybe Bolivia, and they're mining for gold and silver. It's a small company. I think even Bob Moriarty is also interested in El Oro. He thinks it's a sleeper. It's a small company, but it could have good potential. John Colorado, yeah, the broker I use here in the UK, I contacted them last week, and I said, you guys need to have access to the Toronto Venture Exchange because it's going to be big, and hopefully they'll get access to that. F. Magalhães, 1521, you're welcome. Thank you for the interest as well, watching. John Anderson, yeah, I've seen the back bars. They look quite nice. There's some really interesting bars, gold bars. If you Google rare gold bars, there's some really nice bars. The TAEL bars, I think they're the Chinese. They're like a little pole mint. There's some very interesting gold bars. Pat, did you watch interview on George Gammon? Capitalist show with Chris Dark, coming Fed account and making reserve. No, I haven't watched. I don't watch George Gammon that much, to be honest. So I'm always skeptical about people who come out and say what the Fed's going to do in terms of this kind of stuff, because you need to really be an insider. But no, I haven't. I mean, reserves are usually what the central bank and the banks, transfer. They don't call it money; they call it reserves. So, I mean, if you watch John Titus of Best Evidence, he's done a video on that. He talks about the fact that banks, they don't have any money in their accounts. They don't send money to other banks. They send reserves. And it's the same thing between the Fed and the banks. It's only reserves. It's only when the banks lend to us and then we take that's when they create money. So that's the difference between reserves and money. So if he's talked about that as just a technicality, I don't think it makes any difference to the amount of credit and money and credit there is out there. Damien Wright, Perth Mint has a new digital gold platform fully backed. All right. Well, I think I think Grizz of Lafayette asked about manipulation of the precious metals through derivatives. I think that's almost ending. I think it's a losing battle. Yes, it does feel like gold and silver have been trading sideways the last 6 weeks or so, but they made a huge run. Silver's up 50% this year. Gold is up 30%. It's just taking a rest. I don't think they're gonna, succeed in keeping the price lower. They just want to discourage people from getting involved in the physical market. Victor Claudio, Steve Van Meter has some interesting analysis from the bond market. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of. I mean, people have mentioned that guy, but he calls himself the bond king. Well, there you go. I mean, the bond market is heavily manipulated right now. It's totally artificial. The central banks have captured the bond market. And I would say the most important thing about bonds is that the yields in bonds are not paying a decent income. They're all they're like real negative yields if you include for the rising cost of living. George Gammon, Pat, I've been making these videos that I make for about 5 years. George Gammon, he's been around for about 9 months or so. Prior to him starting his channel, I think he used to run a real estate uh, operation on YouTube. You know, to be honest, I think George Gammon has taken a lot of the ideas from people like me and others. So it's like when you play golf, you focus on your own golf swing, and you try not to copy other people's swing. So that's why I don't watch George Gammon. I don't think he adds any value to my views. But that's he's a very good. He's very professional. He's gone from 0 subscribers to a lot more than me. But there you go. Do you think BP stock is a good investment? Uh, I couldn't really give you an opinion on that. I would, if I had to choose, a high dividend paying stock, it would be like tobacco stocks. I think they pay. People are always going to smoke. Maybe also alcoholic beverage companies, uh, and that's for I'm not invested in that kind of stuff, but BP, BP. I don't know much about the company. Of course, it's a big company, but if commodities do well and oil does well as well, again, even though things don't look great for the economy, yeah, it could be a good long-term hold. In the short term, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, John Colorado, Barrett Gold, their dividend yield is less than 1%, though. Barrett Gold. Cyber LA, thank you for the super chat. Great shows and insight. New subscriber. Thank you, Cyber LA. Uh, Bo Pony, you mean Jane Northup? No Pony. Uh, Pablo Pino, why was there so much disapproval in the Senate for Judy Shelton? Well, because Judy Shelton believes in a free market and sound money, uh, and that's completely against what the banks and politicians want. Banks and politicians love fiat currency. They love huge debts, so they can spend. Politicians can spend and buy votes, and bankers can make loads of money from because when the government issues debt, they got to go through the banks. Um, Judy Shelton. I don't think she'd want to and the Fed. But what she'd want to do is to actually make the dollar sound again, to make politicians accountable again, to make banks accountable again. And that's why they, they don't want her, because it would limit the way what they can do. But it would be great for the general public to have a sound currency. It's a shame. Hopefully she will get enough votes. I think that there is enough votes in the Senate to get her through, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to get her through before the election. Yeah, Kinross Gold, Sander. I actually I bought some of that earlier last week, and I saw it did really well on Friday, while others that I have didn't do as well. Yeah, Kinross Gold. I got the idea from looking at prospectus and lists, from ETFs. Dave Humphreys, why do people buy bonds at this point? Well, a lot of pension funds, a lot of local government funds, pension funds, they still are under this impression that bonds are safe. So they are required by the rules and regulation to buy bonds, even though they're not. In some cases in Europe, you're lending people you're paying people to lend them money, and yeah, I mean, it's a huge scam. And the other reason as well is because, as yields go down, that means people are buying it. They're not getting an income, but speculators and the hedge funds, they make money on the principal. It's become like a stock. It's become like the stock market, the bond market, because people are buying it for the capital gains, not the income. And that's why I think I wouldn't be involved in the bond market. It's very dangerous. Jay Northup, Martin Armstrong interview with Greg Hunter. I started listening to that, Jay. Um, the thing with Martin Armstrong, I used to love reading his stuff when he was still in jail or in prison. He used to write a newsletter out of prison on a typewriter. But ever since he got out, he's just changed his tune. I mean, he doesn't even know the definition of inflation. So I listened to it a little bit and then I turned it off because I don't really rate what he says. Of course, he has good opinions on things, but overall, I don't see any value from listening to him. Jay Northup, yeah, if voting mattered, it would be illegal, right, Jay? That's the old saying. Old world order was thinking of investing in masks market. That's the feeling I get, JM. He babbles a lot. Yeah. Tayeb Hussein. Uh, I think what they're trying to do is impose a new kind of societal order. So, and hopefully they won't succeed. And what's this new societal order? Well, is to track everyone, to have everyone vaccinated, all that, surveil everyone. But I don't think they're going to succeed. I think people are they're already rising up against this. But I'm not concerned about, because there is no pandemic, right? Here in the UK, we've had around 40,000 deaths. I mean, people say, oh, we've got 10,000 new cases. But every year, I think there's at least 1 billion cases of the flu. So, and we're talking thousands or hundred thousands of the case of this so-called virus, right? So yeah, what I'm more concerned about is that they try to disrupt our lives with the excuse of this pandemic. Ruskov, many pundits keep saying they expect hyperinflation. Could I explain? Yeah, hyperinflation really is the loss of confidence in the currency, the national currency. So that happens usually when there's a lot of debt, which we have now. There's a lot of political uncertainty. There's a lot of societal disorder, which we have now. There's a recession, which we have now. And the central bank starts monetizing debt, which we have now. And it happens very quickly. It's not, it's like geometric. It's like it's like boiling, it's like boiling water. All of a sudden it boils. It doesn't go like that in a straight line. And what's the loss? How does it? How is it reflected? Well, the demand for cash basically goes down the tubes. What does that mean? Well, people don't want to hold cash. They want something real because they realize that the currency is worthless. Right now, that hasn't happened yet. And a lot of people don't think there can be hyperinflation because inflation, the way that they measure with the CPI is very low. But that has nothing to do with it. Hyperinflation's got to do everything to do with the confidence in the currency, and it could happen very quickly. And I think there's a good possibility of it happening, in the next 12 to 18 months. All that would mean would be, cash, it would become worthless, and gold and silver would be anything that's tangible would be worth a lot of money, right? Brian Yost, could BRICS replace US dollar reserve status? I'm not sure what you mean by BRICS. I know BRICS are a group of countries, but I don't know how a group of countries could replace a currency. I don't think the BRICS countries' currencies could replace the dollar as a reserve currency. I think what we're going to have is the major currencies in the world, like a dollar, the euro, the yuan. They're going to be the next. It's going to be more unipolar, but they will have to have gold as a backing for the monetary system. So yeah, that's what I think will happen. Mr. MJQ, I'm missing the Open. I'm not too worried about it, MJQ, because here in the UK they put it on Sky, and I'm not going to buy the Open on Sky. I boycotted Sky because last time I watched the golf on Sky, the PGA Championship, they were advertising for Black Lives Matter. So I said, no, enough is enough. But I will watch the highlights on YouTube later on. But it's going to be, it's a tough course, Winged Foot. What do you think pensions are performing at the moment? Not too sure. It depends, what you invested in. I think that was asked by SW. Depends what your pensions invested in. I saw a story, there's about 22 billion of property funds in the UK frozen since March. Commercial property funds, 22 billion frozen. So that's a disaster as well there. Andy from Devon, when do you think the Bank of England are likely to introduce negative interest rates? Yeah, I think fairly soon. I think I spoke about this week. It could be, it could be before the end of the year or early next year. So I would say in the next 6 months. Are you welcome, Brian? Victor Claudio is cashing out of his 401k. Dollar Vigilante. Yeah, I like Jeff Berwick. I interviewed him about 4 years ago when he was in London for the channel. You can search in my videos. I interviewed him. I was still pretty rusty. I've improved my presentation. I think I went to his hotel in London and we did an interview with Jeff. Shortage of change. Well, in the US, yeah, I think it's the Federal Reserve trying to, stop people from using cash because there's no reason for there to be any shortages. I saw that the US Mint, one of the heads of the US Mint said that they don't have any problems sourcing and minting coins. And then I heard that one of the banks, U.S., not the major banks, one of the banks, because the banks, they have to ask the their local Federal Reserve for the coins. He said they've been holding on to it. They've asked for the coins, and the Fed won't send it to them. So I think it's the Federal Reserve trying to stop people from using cash. Jim Diggs, thank you for your super chat. Can you think of any way that silver and gold will not go way up like you and most are saying will happen? Well, the first thing I would say is that when I started, I started stacking gold and silver back in 2002, so it's been the right thing to do. And they're not going up in price. It's the currencies that are going down. The only way that they won't go up or the currencies go down is if we see the central bankers start raising interest rates, start unwinding their balance sheet. But they're not going to do that. I mean, unless unless they change their minds completely, which seems very unlikely. So, and that's why I don't think they have any way out. The fiat currency system, the other side of the debt is the money that we have. So there's so much debt out there that the only way to keep the system going is to issue even more debt, or else the system collapses. And yeah, so that's the way I see. That's the only way I see gold and silver not going up, or the currencies not losing value anymore, is that we see the Fed raise rates to let's say 20%. Bank of England raises rates to 20%, but that would completely destroy the financial system. It would make the lockdowns and everything else look like a picnic, and that's what's his name, Paul Volcker had to allow the markets to do in 1980 when the dollar was collapsing and gold was going up. He had to allow short-term rates to go to where the market wanted it to go. You see, last year in September, interest rates went up to 10%, but the Fed intervened. That was the repo rate, right? The overnight rate went up to 10%. So that's the only way I would think that gold and silver wouldn't go up. So if you think the central bankers are going to start raising rates, then yeah, get out of gold and silver. And maybe even then you shouldn't get out, because it would bankrupt so many businesses that you'd want gold and silver. So I think it's a no-brainer. Of course, nothing is certain in life, but I haven't been as certain of something as I am now with the precious metals, but it's more being certain about the fiat currencies. Mr. XYZ or XYZ, thank you for the super chat. COMEX, commercial residential real estate currencies, will break soon. It's all a fraud. Yeah, I mean, COMEX, I mean, I was a futures and options broker for 20 years. The main market that I traded in was bond markets, but I've known about COMEX, how manipulated the precious metals futures are for years. Commercial and residential real estate as well, fiat currencies. It's all too leveraged. Our system is, we've consumed the future for too long, and it's payback time. And that's why it's all coming down, Mr. XYZ. I agree with you. Rocky Champ says, thanks to Trump, we have a very strong economy. Is that why you're running a $3 trillion deficit, Rocky Champ? Because when you have a strong economy, you should be running budget surpluses. So I'm not too sure about that. And I'm not being political. I'm just looking at the numbers. I don't think the U.S. economy has been strong for many years. During Obama, during Bush, I don't think we had a strong economy for a long time, not only in the US, but everywhere around the world. Carlos Diaz, thank you for your super chat. Yeah, John Anderson, commercial property is going to go, especially now in the UK. As I said earlier, there's 22 billion uh, of property funds frozen since March, and I think if they institute another lockdown here, as they're talking about, uh, I think it's going to be even worse. The city of London, there's a lot of commercial property there, but not only the city of London, the high street as well. Balanced views, yeah. I think these protests, they're good, but they're playing right into the hands of the authorities. They're going to crack down even more. I think there was a protest yesterday in London, and there was a lot of police involvement and everything, even though it was a peaceful protest. Rocky Champ, Powell has done an excellent job at nursing V-shaped recovery. Yeah. Okay. Well, when you throw $3.5 trillion at a problem, anyway, Rocky Champ. William Whiteley, do you think we're going to see gold standard anytime soon? Um, yeah, I think there's a much better chance now than there was, 10, 20 years ago. Even though when you listen to the mainstream or you talk to you listen to someone on CNBC or BBC or wherever, you talk about a gold standard, they think you're crazy. But I think they're going to have to go back to one. There will be no gold is the only way to fix a monetary system, especially the world monetary system. Um, yeah, I mean, it's got the track record. I know a lot of people think uh, cryptocurrencies are good as well. And I don't have anything against cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, but they've only been around for about 10, 11 years. Gold and silver have been around for thousands of years. And I think if the if they could bring in a new monetary system, um, you know, and you tell someone out in the street, uh, oh, the new pound is going to be backed by Bitcoin, they're going to laugh at you. Uh, a lot of people are because they don't even know what Bitcoin is, a lot of people. But you say, oh, the pounds are going to be backed by gold again. I think they'd say, oh, that's good. A lot of them would. So that's how I see it. Levin, Yuxo, thanks for your information. I'm 26 years old and saving money for my future, buying gold and silver as much as possible. Which one should have the most percentage in my portfolio? Right now, I think silver will probably outperform, but it's up to you to decide. How much you want to have of each. It's your preference. Everyone's different. But the fact that you're able to do that, I don't think you should worry too much about that. Uh, Pabar, I think I've had 700 once concurrent. Right now, I've got 500 plus. Yeah. Victor Claudio, thank you for your super chat donation. Uh, William Whiteley, Ripple. Yeah, I have sorry, I have held Ripple in the past. I'm not too sure about Ripple. A lot of people think it's a bank, the banksters cryptocurrency. Uh, I have done well from cryptocurrencies. Some people don't think I'm into cryptos, but I post all my videos on Steemit, on DTube, on Hive. I've earned quite a lot of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin indirectly, and but Ripple, I'm not too sure. You know, probably a good bet. You put a few $1,000s or whatever in there and just hold it as speculative. Jim Diggs, thank you for your super chat. I have a gut feeling that the powers that be will not let gold and silver rise. They've been playing this for a long time. They're devious. I'm not sure. I think there will be a time when they actually will have to let it rise, and they will want it to rise, actually, to liquefy the system. The other thing about Ripple, there's a story a few years ago about, I think his name was Paul Mellon. From the Mellon family. I think Mellon was one of the Secretary of the Treasuries under Roosevelt, and he had a lot of Ripple. He was behind Ripple, and I think that he died a few years ago, and he forgot to give anyone in his family his code, wallet code or his private key for Ripple, and I think his family's lost hundreds of millions of dollars of Ripple. So that's the kind of people that are involved in Ripple, old family, bankster family, like the Mellons. But I couldn't tell you anymore. Thank you, Mr. XYZ, for your super chat. XYZ says he loves gold, silver, RCM bars. One coin that I like as well here in the UK is the florin. Florin, that here you go. That's a sterling silver. That's a little bigger than a $0.50. It's a really nice coin. I've been buying a few. More numismatic, these coins here, these silver coins. Carlos, thank you for your super chat. You're welcome. Any thoughts on keeping gold with bullion vaults? Andy from Devon. Well, someone else asked me that a few days ago on my Facebook page. And I said, make sure that it's allocated. And they said they checked with Bullion Vault and they said it's not allocated. So all Bullion Vault does is, how can I say, expose you to the price of gold. It doesn't mean that to say that you have gold with them. And I'm not sure you can ask for redemption, ask them to send you the gold. While with Glint, for example, I got a message from one of the viewers, and he showed me a photo. He just had 310 grams sent to him from Glint by Glint, 250-gram bar, a 50-gram bar, and a 10-gram bar. So Glint will give you your gold if you ask them for it. I'm not too sure if Bullion Vault will. Even though I have an account with Bullion Vault, but I think I've got a pound of gold in there. I used to have a little more, like over 15 years ago, I think. And then I just took it out. Yeah, metallic miner. I really like the sterling silver coins. I found some coins that I had from when I ran my pawnbroking business. People would come with coins, silver coins, and I used to buy and just pay them the scrap value. And I was looking through this a few weeks ago, all these coins, and I had some really interesting ones. And I have like the Canadian 25 cents from the 19th century, really nice silver coins. It's amazing when you look at all these countries, we had silver coinage up until the 60s. That's the other thing that I wanted to say as well. What we've had the last 50 years is an aberration. And that's why I think actually gold and silver are going to make a comeback in terms of using it as currency again. Might not be next year, or it could take a while, but I think eventually it will. Sovereign coins, well, sovereigns, they're gold coins. The sterling, silver coins is different, of course. Sovereign is a gold, the British £1. Legal tender value is a pound, of course. It's 22 carat, the sovereign, and they're good coins. I think in the 60s and the 70s, before gold was legalized again in the States, a lot of people used to buy sovereigns in the States because they were allowed to buy sovereigns, pre-1947 sovereigns. I think John Exter used to buy gold sovereigns, and they're 0.2354 of an ounce gold sovereigns. I think it's a great coin. Music Lover says businesses were already moving out of London before this all started. BT Group was looking to sell for 5 years before. Yeah, and I think a lot of the retailers are already having a tough time, with all the online shopping and Amazon. Georgia Sad says Trump administration sowing seeds of total chaos as a re-election ploy. Well, I don't think it's only the Trump administration, it's both the sides of the political spectrum. It's the old divide and conquer, right? It's left and right. Tricky Dicky, thank you for your super chat. Living in Surrey, what do you think will happen to house prices? My friend is a trader. He says UK economy in grave danger. I guess you live in Surrey, right? Because I live in Kent. But yeah, I think right now, house prices, from what I've read, there are some pockets in the UK that are doing well. From like out in the rural areas, there's a lot of demand, and maybe properties less than 500,000 are doing well because the stamp duty. They stopped the stamp duty till next year. But yeah, with the city getting hurt so badly as well, uh, I think the prospects aren't great for house prices. But I think having a house, a property, is a good thing, because if you're going to have a destruction of the currency, as I think we're going to see, you do want to have real hard assets. Of course, if you have a huge mortgage, and that's a problem. So I'll give you an example. I think it could be that it gets very hard to buy or sell property. So it doesn't even matter what the price does. I think it's very difficult to say exactly what's going to happen. But I don't care if the house that I'm sitting on loses value in terms of fiat, because every other house will lose value around the UK. Of course, some will do better than others because of location, but I'm not too concerned. Krugerrands, yeah, in the UK, the best coins to own are coins of the realm, gold coins, because there's no capital gains tax. Krugerrands are nice coins, though, of course. They're bullion coins. Elizabeth Pierce thinks there will be bail-in, the bank bail-ins. I think that's a big possibility of bail-ins. Yeah, and I don't trust, the insurance that like in the UK at the FCSC, I think it's called, the insurance. It insures up to 85,000. But if there's a complete banking collapse, that insurance only has about 3 or 4% in assets that would cover all the deposits. So that's another reason why I think personally it's crazy to leave too much fiat currency in the bank. I would only hold enough to pay my bills. And that's why I think precious metals or even paying off debt is a good idea. You got to be outside the system as much as possible. Krugerrand is 22 carat. That's right. Krugerrand was really popular in the 70s bull market. High micron. Mike Crone from Sacramento. Nice to see you here. George Assad says, come to Grand Cayman, 9 mile long beach. In the UK, any coin that any coin of the realm, so sovereigns, half sovereigns, and Britannias, you don't pay capital gains. Other countries, I don't know. But I think in France, for example, there's a law that if you sell your gold coin, you have to pay an 18% tax. But if your coin is a French coin, there is no tax. So you need to check that wherever you are. Hi, Frank David. Frank David's in Canada. Yeah, the Buffalo is 999. They're not really for circulating. The reason they make coins 22 karat or like the old US coins are 90% is because they circulated. So if you have 999 coins circulating, they will the gold will wear off very quickly and get damaged. All right, I'll take a few more questions and then we'll call it a night here for me. Shane Ellis, yeah, you can make sure if there is hyperinflation that on the other side, your mortgage will be revalued to the new currency. So yeah, there is a chance that they could do a jubilee, but you can never trust the bankers. Best thing is to try to get out of debt. Gary Nigel Draper lives in Aldershot, and if you want to do a post with someone who's just a human and curious, I can give you an ounce of silver return for a good conversation and to scratch Billy's ear. Okay, Nigel, I'll think about that. I'll think about that. Where does fiat currency go after purchasing gold and silver? Well, it goes to whoever sells you the gold and silver, right? So that's where the fiat currency goes. But the thing is, if there's a lot of demand for gold and silver, the demand for fiat currency will go down because you're selling the fiat currency, and that will lead to hyperinflation, right? Because people will not want fiat currency, they will want gold and silver, and that's what the bankers don't want, right? Because that will destroy their fiat currencies, which are a big scam, of course. Surfview, yeah, I seen Market Sniper. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, Francis Hunt. Pabar, Nigel Farage says no other lockdown. Well, I don't think people listen to Nigel Farage too much. The government will listen to him, even though I agree with him. But I think that we will get another lockdown, unfortunately. What's the difference between 22 and 24 karat? Well, 22 karat means that let's say a coin weighs 10 grams. So 22 karat means that, well, let's say it weighs 100 grams, the coin. 22 karat means that there's 91.6 grams of gold, and the rest of the rest is like another metal, like copper, to make it harder. 24 karat means that the coin is almost 100% gold. That's all it means. So 24 karat is 100%, 22 karat is 91.6%. 18 karat is 75%, 14 carat is 0.585 or 58.5%. And in the UK, a lot of the jewelry is 9 carat jewelry, and that's 37.5% gold. No, Dave Humphreys, I would say the 22 carat coins are best because they're easier to keep. You got to be very careful with the 24 karat gold coins. It doesn't really matter the carat as long as there is gold in the coins, but you got to be very careful with the 24 karat gold coins because they get damaged very easily. There you go. Yeah, Joel Johnson's just said that. Yeah. Bullion. Well, bullion is just gold that is not like gold bars is bullion, and some coins are bullion coins because they do not circulate like the 24 karat, the bullion. All right. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all a great week. And yeah, I think we got up to around 550, which isn't bad concurrent. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.